What is attitude? We all would often say, I have my own attitude. But when do this attitude come? And from where do you get it? Attitude is nothing but it comes to you naturally when you are placed in some positions. Yes, of course. Being employed or being professionalist is really an enjoying kind of attitude. For the past 2 days, you would have come across some techniques and teachings like professionalism, entrepreneurial development, and how to be a professional, how to get through competitive examinations, what are the steps to be taken for preparing yourself for the next level, and how passionate you should be in your studies, and what kind of love should you throw upon your subject. Yes, all these together constitute attitude. Now, if you want to move out of your home and it is slightly drizzling, what will you do? We just ignore the drizzle and we move off to our destination. But think, when there is a heavy rain, do we go like that? No. Either we switch off our plan of going out, or we choose somewhat better umbrella which would resist the heavy rain, and thus we reach the destination. Yes, I would say that is attitude. For example, a student who is in his final year of graduation will start thinking, what should I do next? Shall I go for higher studies, or shall I become an entrepreneur, or shall I be employed in any job? This is a common chaos in everyone's mind at the verge of graduation. But after graduation, he starts planning more and more. What will I do? What will I be after 5 years or 10 years? When all my friends are in this level, will I be in the same level, or will I exceed them? So such kind of chaotic conditions prevail in all the minds of each and every graduate. So this is the cause myself and our head of the department chose the right platform, career counseling. This topic is mainly chosen to throw some suggestions and ideas after graduation. So what all should you do? What are the fields that open for you in the contemporary competitive arena? And thinking of who will be the apt person for this particular topic, the very first person came to our mind is none but Mrs. R. Lakshmi, one of my professors again. So when I was in my UG first year, she was working in Adalnigar Banyanar Arts College for Women. I feel again happy to introduce one of the alumni of our own institution and one most resourceful person. She has cleared NET in 2011 and she is pursuing her PhD now. And she is working as an assistant professor of English in Nehru Memorial College, Uttanampatti, Trichy district. She has published many articles and research papers for journals, and she has organized many programs. She has been the resource person for content teaching in Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan organized program. And not the least, she has organized several other programs in her own institution, and she is one of the member of Board of Studies in our college. So very happy to introduce Mrs. R. Lakshmi, because the resource she has, I knew her very well for the past 15 years, and the resource she has is really abundant. She is now to address you all in this third day program for career guidance and counseling for competitive examinations, and she's going to deal with the topic career counseling. Let us all listen to her words. Thank you.
Hi dears, have you chosen your career? Only a few students would say that, ma'am, I am aiming for UPSC services or I want to do research. A few students would say, ma'am, I am going to do my PG. But most of the answers would be no. Don't worry, I am here to share some of the ideas with you. You can choose your career, aim for it, and achieve it. Shall we move on? You have to choose your career. Don't ask others because it is your life and you have to decide on it. First thing to do is to think of your interest. Find out your interests. Once you select your career based on your interest, you will be happy, perform well, and achieve greater heights. Second thing, know your talents. Some of you might have good administrative powers. You can opt for UPSC services. Third one is your ability. Based on this quality, you can select your career and shine well. Now that you have chosen your career, and now it is time to prepare for exam. Now let's see how to prepare for competitive exams effectively. After choosing your career path, you have to equip yourself to qualify yourself for the competitive exams. First of all, select which type of exam you are going to appear. Then know the syllabus, especially its structure and pattern. Structure and pattern you can find out only after you reread it. Read and read again. Understand the weightage of the topics and which topic should be given more importance. Prepare and plan for the exam according to its structure. Make a timetable that suits you and follow it strictly. Most important thing is to keep a reliable study material. When whatever may be the book or brand, the concept will be the same. Choose the one which gives you very clear idea of about the basic concept. If you prepare according to your timetable, you can be free of exam related fears and stress. Important thing is to fix realistic goals for each study session. Prefer a time during which you can concentrate more. Some people study early morning time while some prefer to study the whole night. Allocate more time for complicated subjects or units. Avoid fear and getting stressed because it will reduce your concentration power. Take short breaks. It helps you to concentrate more and it refreshes your memory. Practice, practice, practice. Practice is the most important requirement. It is the best mantra to crack all the competitive exams. Candidates must practice and rapid reading and try to understand the questions quickly and answer quickly. Concentrate on the time allocated for each question. Most of the times, 30 seconds are given to solve each question. Again and again, I tell you, practice the time limit, only then you can win. Nowadays, most of the exams have multiple choice questions. Next would be download previous year question papers and solve it. Keep on writing tests every day. You yourself write test and correct it and follow the time frame. Reread the old question papers so that you can understand which area must be given more weightage. Don't study anything new at the last minute because you may not have time to revise what you have studied already and you may not be able to remember the new things you have studied. Now I am going to give you a list of competitive examinations. These are all government examinations. UPSC Civil Service Examination, SBI PO Examination, LIC AAO Examination, IBPS PO Examination, RBI Grade B Examination, IBBS SO Examination, SSC CGL Examination, Indian Railways Examination, SBI Clerk Examination, SSC CPO, SSC JE, RRB ALP, RRB JE, SSC SHSL, IBPS RRB, Defense Examinations. Now let's take a short look at the selection procedure and age limits for these exams. For UPSC Civil Service Examinations and SBI Probationary Officer exam, the selection procedure would be preliminary exam, main exam, and a final interview. Age limit is from 21 years to 32 years. Number of attempts. For general category, it is 6 attempts. For OBC, it is 9 attempts. For SC/ST, unlimited attempts. For LIC AAO exam, selection procedure, written examination and interview. Age 21 to 30 years. IBPS PO examination, selection procedure, written examination and an interview. Age limit is from 20 to 28 years. RBI Grade B examination. The selected aspirant will be responsible for currency issue and circulation, ensuring nation's financial stability and management of government accounts. SSC CGL examination. Staff Selection Commission's combined graduate level exam is the examination conducted to recruit candidates to fill up the vacancies in the senior government of India. The selection procedure is preliminary exam, main exam, and a final interview, and age limit is from 18 years to 32 years. Next is TNPSC. In TNPSC, we have Group 1 services. They are District Employment Officer, District Registrar, Deputy Collector, Deputy Superintendent of Police, Assistant of Commercial Taxes, Assistant Director of Rural Development Department, and Deputy Registrar of Cooperative Societies. In TNPSC Group 2 services, we have Municipal Commissioner Grade 2, Deputy Commissioner Tax Officer, Assistant Section Officer in various departments of Secretariat, Assistant Section Officer in TNPSC, Senior Inspector of Cooperative Society in Milk Production and Dairy Development Department, Audit Inspector in the Auditing of Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowment, Sub-Registrar Grade 2, Probation Officer in the Prison Department, Special Assistant in the Vigilance and Anti-Corruption Department, Junior Employment Officer in Employment and Training Department, Assistants in various departments and other posts too. Exam pattern for this group is written examination, both prelims and main examination and interview. And we have TNPSC Group 4, as you all know. Next exam is NET or SET, eligibility test for candidates aspiring for the post of assistant professors in colleges and universities. NET is National Eligibility Test. If you clear NET, you may be posted anywhere in India. SET, State Eligibility Test. If you clear SET, you will be posted anywhere in Tamil Nadu. Apart from this, we have other recruitment drives also, and we have private job recruitments also there. And I am going to give you a few. Recruitment by DRDO, oil companies, LIC, NLC, India Post, AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, and we have job opportunities by private companies too. Once you clear written examination, you may have group discussion. It is a discussion on a particular topic given among a group of candidates. It is also a modern method of assessing the student's personality. It is used as a comprehensive tool to judge the worthiness of the student. A group may have 18 to 12 members who will express their views frankly and in a friendly manner on the given topic. In a group discussion, an interesting topic will be given by the moderator to a group of candidates. Once a topic is given, the candidates are expected to speak either in favor or against the subject or be neutral. He can explain the merits and demerits of the topic under discussion. During the group discussion, the moderator observes the behavior of each candidate who takes the leadership role, whether the behavior is arrogant or passive, or they remain silent. He judges the candidate's potential ability to work as a team from his behavior. Since it is not a pre planned and spontaneous one, the candidate should understand the nature and technique of group discussion if he wants to succeed. All the participants are responsible for the smooth conduct of group discussion, so they should not be too involved in the problem. Only those who remain alert and adapt himself to the changing situations, and only those who utilize the opportunities come out successfully. The candidates who contribute more ideas appear more confident. The person who shows this interest and enthusiasm through his words have more chances of getting himself placed. Candidate can use this as an opportunity for noticing and comparing the verbal ability, the depth of knowledge, extent of ideas, logical reasoning, and the convincing capacity of others, and this should enable him to prepare himself to match with them or excel them. Let's see the benefits of group discussion. Speaking among your peers helps you to shed your shyness and nervousness, stimulates your thinking in a new dimension, which will help you to think objectively without losing your temper. It expands your knowledge and it helps you to understand your strength and weakness. You can improve your strengths and you can work on your weaknesses. Your leadership skills gets revealed. It also provides chance to expose yourself, improves your self-confidence. It also develops your skill to handle people. The parameters for selection in a GD. In a group discussion, they check your academic knowledge, your systematic and positive approach to the topic, your confidence and courage, how you are able to influence your group, your leadership qualities will be checked. Language skills also will be looked into, particularly clarity and fluency, and they will also check your flexibility. Tell you how to prepare for a GD. Train yourself to become a good listener. Read newspapers and magazines regularly to keep you up to date. Inculcate the habit of structuring your thoughts and presenting them logically. Seek opportunities to discuss your ideas in a group. If you get a chance, make use of it. Learn to respect others for what they are. Next, we will see do's and don'ts in a GD. In a group discussion, present your points and ideas, support them by substantial reasoning. One of the members should kickstart the discussion. Listen to other participants actively and carefully. Realize that all candidates are equal in all aspects. Always speak with a logical flow and validate with an example. Always be positive in your approach. Always try to get your turn to speak. Be an active and dynamic participant by listening and coordinating others. Talk with confidence and self-assurance. Be considerate to the feelings of other candidates also. Remember, each one in the group is competing with each other, so remain alert. What you should not do in a GD: don't shout, don't be shy and nervous, don't interrupt other participants while they are speaking, give them their time. Stubbornly establish your position, don't do that. Don't be silent. Avoid changing your opinions often. Don't make fun of others. Don't talk irrelevant matters. Avoid using slang. Some of the tips are: a person who expresses his ideas clearly will succeed. Your language must be simple and straightforward. Always concentrate on your body language because it speaks a lot. Be calm and cool. Have extensive knowledge on your state, country, and globe. You will be selected if you have the ability to cooperate with others and coordinate others. Congrats, dears. Now you have been selected in group discussion, and your success is one step away, only one step, that is an interview. Now let me share some of the ideas on interviews, how to prepare, do's and don'ts, and what you should do. Is a process arranged by the employers to hire employees to suit to their needs. Here they will test your subject knowledge, your skills, and your desired behavior within a given time. Interviews always try to make the candidates feel relaxed and bring out their best in the interview, so no need to be afraid. They will make you friendly, so you also feel relaxed and give your best. Now let's see the different types of interviews. Panel interview, face-to-face interviews, phone interview, video interviews, and stress interviews. Sometimes there will be a selection committee or there are a group of people for conducting interviews. It is called as a panel interview, in which you will be interviewed by several people at the same time. Panel interviews are very efficient from the employer's perspective. In a panel interview, you must connect with and engage every member of the panel, not just the person asking the question. Always keep extra copies of your resumes and offer one to each member of the panel at the beginning of the interview. Face-to-face interviews. This is the most common interview method, and you are interviewed by the interviewer alone in a private office. Once you are face-to-face with the interviewer will assess your appearance, non-verbal communication skills, and other visual factors as well as your communication skills. Building rapport with the interviewer is usually the easiest in this setting in order to succeed in this interview. Phone interviews. Phone interviews are used for cost-efficient preliminary screening before the face-to-face interview. They are often recorded and vary in length and are conducted for around 20 to 30 minutes. You should prepare for the phone interview just as you would for a regular interview. You should select an area where it is calm so that your friends and family members will not disturb during the interview. Keep in mind that they will call you at any time without any prior notice. Be prepared. Next, video interviews. Video interviews are very common. It is conducted if you are applying for overseas jobs. Dress yourself as you would for a face-to-face interview and check your background before the interview begins. Finally, ensure that your body language is positive. Look directly into the camera and make an eye contact, as this will make you appear calm and confident. And finally, stress interviews. Stress interviews are conducted to test the behavior of the candidate in a stressful situation. It is used to observe whether a candidate deviates from his normal behavior and whether his performance gets affected by the stress he is subjected to. For example, they will ask further questions without giving enough time for you to answer and the previous question, or they will provoke you with feelings and judge you by your answer as well as your behavior. Preparations for an interview. First of all, reread your resume, your application and skills demanded so that you can be prepared accordingly. Do a little research on the organization you wish to apply. It shows you are really eager to work there. You have to make a small research on their main production, profits, competitors, new product or service launched. You have to be prepared yourself to focus and exhibit your skills. Do you know 39% of Microsoft employees do not have a degree? They work there only with their skills. First and foremost is to develop your communication skills. Fluency will be an added advantage. And arrange your certificates neatly in a descending order. That is recent one at the top. That is, if you have a BA or BSc, you have to BSc certificate. You have to put BSc certificate first, and then plus 2, and then 10th certificate. Arrive a few minutes early to the venue so that you can prepare yourself and be calm and cool. Your interview begins as soon as you enter the premises. You will be watched by cameras. Motivate yourself by giving a pep talk to yourself. Contact your references, that is, the people you have put in your resume as references, and alert them that they might get a call. Try to talk without the influence of the mother tongue. Show your enthusiasm always. What you should do in an interview. First of all, if you are given a job application at the venue, fill it up neatly, completely, and accurately. You have to bring extra resumes to the interview so that you can give it to other interviewers also. Once you enter the interview hall, greet them first. Wait until you are offered a chair for sitting. Don't sit very quickly. You have to sit straight and show enthusiasm on your face. Don't put your elbow or your belongings on the interviewer's table. Always maintain an eye contact because it will show that you are speaking truth. Present your answers in a factual and sincere manner. Be enthusiastic. The tone of your voice communicates your thoughts. So you need to analyze the question and determine why the interviewer is asking this question. Stress about your achievements. That are the skills or achievements that are related to your job. You should sound natural while answering. Don't mug up the answers and speak. Speak naturally. Should not do during an interview. Avoid controversial topics such as politics, religion, and other sensitive topics. Even if the interviewer asks you, you just say no comment, sir. Don't tell lies. Answer them truthfully. Please remember, telling lies always puts you in troubles. Avoid saying anything negative about former colleagues and employers. Showcase your talents, skills, and give examples too. Remember, you have to blow your own trumpet. Don't discuss your personal problems with the interviewers. There is no need for them to know about your personal problems. There's no need to. Not only to the interview board, not to anyone else. Don't appear desperate as if you need the job desperately. Even if it is so, don't show it out. Concentrate on these small things. Don't tap your feet on the floor. Don't use too many gestures while speaking. Don't bite your nails or pick your nose. Don't bang with any of the things in the room. Don't cross your arms or legs. Tips are, overselling is dangerous. So don't talk too much. Don't try too hard to impress. Beware of your body language. It shows your enthusiasm and it is one of the important thing to succeed in an interview. So concentrate on your body language. Don't appear desperate. Don't underscore your past experiences. Don't interrupt. Give them time to finish and then you can answer. Give you some of the basic questions. They are asked by the interviewers when you go for an interview. Tell me about yourself. Why did you apply for this job? Why should we hire you? How do you spend your leisure time? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Do you read newspapers regularly? How can you contribute to this organization? When and how did you provide a creative solution? I have given you some clear idea about how to prepare for competitive exams effectively. So, always be positive, believe in yourself, and the success is yours. All the best. Thank you.